We're really pleased to welcome our friend and colleague, Heidi Ziemer from the Western New York Library Resources Council, our sister organization based out of Buffalo. She is the Outreach and Digital Services Coordinator up there, and she's here to talk to us about a really cool tool that is freely available for our profession and for educators to kind of curate content and tell stories and do cool stuff with our stuff and the Smithsonian stuff. So before I turn it over to Heidi, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions as Heidi goes along, go ahead and put them in the chat. I will be monitoring that, and if it's something that Heidi, is better addressed in the moment, I'll let her know. If not, we'll save the questions for the end. We are recording this, because we had a few people who couldn't attend but would like to get the content, so we'll send a link out to everyone when this is over. So just the chat might show up in the recording, so just keep that in mind as you're chatting. And I think Heidi also has a PowerPoint kind of backup that she's going to send out to everybody that has the slides and her notes in it. So don't feel like you have to scramble and write down everything she's saying, because she's got it for us afterwards. Is that it, Carolyn? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think that's the long and the short of it. Actually, is Kelsey, I see you're here. Are you taking notes as well?
I told her that she didn't have to, but
okay.
But we can, what we'll do is we'll download the chat after and make sure if we need a separate document with like the Q&A, we'll capture that out of the chat.
Okay. Because I definitely want to make sure if we have a list of resources that we put those resources into our SIG or LibGuide afterwards.
Yep. Because we will have a LibGuide page for this where we'll, if Heidi's fine with sharing the recording broadly, we can link to it there.
Sure.
And her PowerPoint and any Q&A or other resources like Carolyn said. So.
Okay.
As long as you edit out any cuss words I may use, if the thing is too slow or not working.
We're all very patient here, so you're amongst friends and family.
All right.
So I'm going to turn it over to Heidi. And, I did send you the participant list, so you kind of see where people are coming from. We got a diverse group today, and these are, all folks who digitize their awesome collections. So.
Right. Well, thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to share something that I think is a really cool resource. We haven't used it here as much as I'd like to, and so I'm hoping maybe this presentation will kind of kickstart renewed interest in our members using the Smithsonian Learning Lab to, as you said, kind of combine resources that are at the Smithsonian's with our own resources in New York Heritage, especially now because of the pandemic and so many students having to go to online resources. This is just a great opportunity to kind of color things up a little bit. So the Smithsonian Learning Lab is basically, you can read there about, it's a free resources by the Smithsonian Institution. And it is basically geared toward, I would say geared toward educators, but it's open to anyone to use. So it's not specifically an educator tool, but a lot of educators obviously use it.
Hey, Heidi, I'm going to stop you for 1 minute because is anyone else hearing some noise that sounds like kind of a helicopter in the background? And
not me.
But I feel like when you stop talking, I don't hear it. So I don't know if it's your headset. Is anyone else hearing it, or is it just me?
Yeah, I'm hearing it too. It sounds like it's
Here, you know what?
Heidi's sound.
Okay, look, is it better when the headset's not
on?
Is it are you not getting that sound now, or are you getting that sound still?
I'm still hearing it. I mean, it's not terrible. Does it bother anyone else?
I mean, I think at this point, there's probably not time to troubleshoot it, which is the realistic. It's a little bit of a buzz that happens when Heidi's talking.
I just unplugged my power cord, hoping that maybe. I just unplugged.
That sounds better. You sound better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. First technical glitch of the day.
You sound great. Carry on.
Okay. So anyway, it is a tremendous resource. So we'll just dig right in. you can create a free account. There is no cost to have an account. One thing that I do want you to be aware of is that students can use this if they are 13 years and older. When you register, you have to give your month and year of birth. And they have a big privacy policy. They have a kids privacy policy. They actually have forms for parents to download and sign if the kid is younger than 13, the student, and the teacher wants them to participate. There is a parent permission form. So all of these resources are built into the Smithsonian Learning Lab website. And if we have time, I can show you those things. But for the moment, I wanted to get into the learning resources that we have here, where you can, in essence, kind of build your own exhibit using their materials. So I am going to log in. I've already got myself set up here with you can use social media, as you will see, as a login, but I have mine, because I always forget my password, so I just preset it. And it does run a little slow because it's so heavily used. Oh, that was weird. Okay, I'm in. So see, the little login is not there, so I am in. I'm gonna have to just move there. Okay, whoops. Oh, that's better. Okay, so you can create, as I said, you can create a free account. Teachers could create their own account and invite students to share materials that they grab from the Learning Lab site, or if students are old enough, they can create their own accounts and run their own exhibits. So there's different ways you can get around that and serve all age groups. So the home page is this revolving slider, and the sunburst that's up in the corner here is in the facing right corner, will always take you back to this home page or to the home page in your account, and you'll see that a little later, which gets you back to this home page. So if you're ever lost, you can just hit that sunburst and you'll be back to where you started. You'll see that they have these 4 different discover, create, share, and learn. We're just going to focus on discover and create today because that's pretty much all we'll have time for. But you're certainly welcome to explore more of these resources. So if we go to the Discover tab, okay. All right, so you go to the Discover tab and you'll see that they talk about what will you find. You will find resources and collections. The resources are actually what we would call items, and they're digital items from the different Smithsonians. So Air and Space, Natural History, American History, the Portrait Gallery, any of the organizations that falls under the network of the Smithsonian Institution. They all have digitized resources. In addition, there are recordings, there are texts, there are videos, and these can be videos from a webinar or an event that the Smithsonian hosted. The Smithsonian Magazine has articles that are published, and some of those are in this resources. So it's a whole range of materials. The collections are basically materials that people have brought together, whether it's Smithsonian staff or teachers or just individuals who are interested in some aspect of Smithsonian collections. So those are just things that are brought together by people, and those are what they call them collections, and I kind of call them exhibits because they're sort of set up as an exhibit. So the other tab that I just want to mention briefly is the Create tab, and that it's weird the way this is. They're all just really under each other. And the Create is where you can actually go to find an existing collection. So say you wanted to do something on space exploration or Apollo 11. You could type that into the search box and you could see if, let's just even see if that shows up. Right. Oh, it is, okay. I couldn't see if it was searching. So it found 2,635 resources containing Apollo 11 and 13 collections. So 13 collections have been created by either staff or educators or other people that are around the topic of Apollo 11. These are kind of cool resources too. I keep thinking of, I picked Apollo 11 because it popped into my head from one of the students in this area did Apollo 11 as a National History Day topic. So this one has 11 items in it. You can see there in its collection. This one has 6 items about the moon crew, destination moon crew. This one has 8. Here's building the station. That's 22 items are in that. So these are the 13 collections about Apollo 11 that have been created by somebody based off of probably mostly Smithsonian resources, but not necessarily. So I'm going to go back to this just so you can see. So that's what happens when you click on that sunburst once you're into the site. And I'm just going to go back to home for a minute. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to that home page that we started with. And I want to go back to Discover. So in this Discover page, the other thing I wanted to point out is they do have information in here, the educators, curriculum developers, library specialists, parents. So this is where you find out about the privacy policy and younger students using the site. But this is basically, these would be blog articles, newsletter articles, links to resources for specific groups who are interested in using the site. So in addition to the collections and the items, you have support materials down here. Okay, so now say you wanted to look for some materials and you wanted to, and say for example, that I wanted to put together an exhibit on the Erie Canal. And actually, it doesn't even matter. I could spell it with upper and lowercase or just put the words in there. So I want to do something on the Erie Canal, an exhibit or collection on the Erie Canal. And I type that in. And it's looking. Okay, so what we found are 48 resources or items that are related to the Erie Canal and 1 learning lab collection. So I'm not going to go to that, but because I did go to it already, it's about early American pottery, and one of the items in it relates to the Erie Canal. It was either made somewhere near there or used there, but it's in there. It's linked by that term. But these are the 48 resources relating to the Erie Canal that it brought up that are from the Smithsonian's collections, okay? So first of all, to let you learn a little bit more about the way the site's set up, the first thing you see under that starburst are these 2 icons. And these are 2 ways to look at these items. The first one is the grid view, which is how we're looking at it right now, which is just a grid of the images, or you can look at it as a list view. And that's a little easier because you've got a little bit of description as well as the title of what the item is. So you can choose to look at it this way, or you can choose to look at it as a grid view. I'm just going to go back to grid view for a minute. The other thing is that it sorts by relevance, best match, but you can also change the way to look at these, especially if you've got a lot of hits. Say you had over 2,000 hits, and say you were looking for, John Adams. And so you wanted to reorder it so that Adams would appear closer to the top of those 2,000 items. So this, and actually you can see it better this way, the list view. So here is the A along A, B, C. So that's sorted title A to Z. So that can help you depending on if you're looking for a specific name and you need an alpha sort, or if you're looking for the most relevant materials. So that's how you sort them, sorting and viewing these items. Okay, is everybody good so far, following along? Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you about this is when you hover over an image, you will see 3 other icons, okay? The first one is the share icon, and this allows you to share this with someone. So this is good if you're doing classroom work and say a student finds a resource, wants to share it with other students, they're working on a project together, or the students want to share it to the teacher who is going to take everyone's contributions and work with them to create a lesson or an exhibit or whatever it is purpose they're doing that. So the share function is up here. The heart is favorite. So if you're looking through if you're using a lot of different search terms and you're doing a lot of searches, say I did the Erie Canal, say I did canal construction, say I did truss bridges, if I was looking for, construction features or cement, hydraulic cement, and I did all these different searches in the Smithsonian collection and I found different things in each one, you want to favorite them so that you can, they'll end up in your favorites, and you can go back to your favorites and pick and choose things that are most relevant to the project that you're working on. So you definitely want to use the favorite button. And then this is the add to a collection. So if you've already built a bunch of different collections and you're browsing through the Smithsonian collections and you see something, say you already had your Erie Canal construction collection and you saw this, well, you'd say this really doesn't have to do with the construction, so I'm not going to add it, but it does have to do with my exhibit on canal culture. People, things that people brought with them or things that people made while they were, sitting on a boring canal ride or something. So you can immediately add these things to your existing collections if you want to. So in looking at these 48 resources, I decided to favorite some of them. So you'll see I already did this. It turns red when you favorite something. So I made that a favorite. I made that one a favorite. I didn't do that one, but I think I'm going to include that one as well. So I just added a new favorite. The portrait of, DeWitt Clinton, I did favorite him. I did this mug, not that mug, I'm not sure why. I did the surveyor chains. I think that's it. That's it for now. So I created a group of favorites from the resources that were found using that search term. So again, you can use more than one search term, and you can just build your collection by favoriting things that you find using different search terms. So this is the hovering over gives you those different icons. Now, if I click actually on an item, and I just clicked on the surveyor chain item, and it spins. It will, I know it will come.
Yeah, while we're waiting for that to load, someone did ask a question about copyright and citation, so we'll just park that until the Q&A at the end.
Well, guess what? I'm about to answer that question now.
I knew you would get to it.
Because that's where you find this kind of information. When you actually click on an item, it will bring up the image, okay? And so you'll get the icons that you already saw, the add to collection, the favorite, and the share. And looky here, here's the citation button. So this will tell you, and you can, there we go. It'll give you whatever version of citation you prefer. So that is how you can cite these. So students don't have to worry about figuring out how to do citations because the citation is there for them. Oops. Yes, for some reason I didn't go back into my image. And below that citation image, or citation icon, oops, Oh yeah, it's still spinning. Sorry. It is slow because there is a lot in here and there are a lot of people using it. There we go. Oh, yes, yes, okay. Right. So again, those 3 that we saw before, then the citation one. This is the print. Again, if you wanted to print out the image for students to use, if you were in a live classroom situation, you could do the printing out of the image, okay? Again, along the bottom here, you have these icons and you can make your image larger, smaller. This one I think is to crop, or zoom focus, but for some reason it does not apply to a lot of these. You can download it and save it. And here is your access information, your usage. So you have the citation over here and then usage conditions. And you can go there and view that. And generally speaking, most of these are available for educational purposes. Nothing restrictive about the use of these. So those are the icons going down and across. And one of the things you'll see here is one of 6 images. So this might not necessarily be the case with everything you click on, but in this particular instance, this is actually the first of 6 different images relating to the surveyor chains. And so if you click on the down button, you'll see here's another view of it if you have a preference, and another one. And so this gives you a little information about where the chains came from, the accession. Some more deadly looking survey equipment. And then another view of it. So in this case, there are 6 different images that you could actually work with for the Erie Canal, exhibit. Let's see. Then up here, you will see under the title, in one collection and more info. So the in one collection means that this particular item was used in somebody's exhibit. And this was actually used for an 8th grade American colonial history lesson. If you actually clicked on, that in one collection, you would get, it's Mr. Day's American History American colonial history lesson. And this survey chain was used in that. But then you have this more info, which turns into the info icon. And here's where you get the actual description of, of what this item is. And so it gives you a description. It mentions that it was used to lay out the New York and Erie Canal. It's an image of the chains. It comes from so it tells you which Smithsonian it comes from. This is from American History, and they created it, obviously. The notes section says currently not on view. So if you went to the Smithsonian, you wouldn't see this in an exhibit at this point because it's just stored. It's not on display. Then there is their Smithsonian accession information, the object type, the surveyor's chain. And then I like the additional information because if you're, if you're focusing specifically on, say you were doing a STEM thing on the Erie Canal and you were doing a thing on measurements and surveying. So you might want to use the measuring and mapping as another search term to find some additional related materials. And the associated places might lead you somewhere else. But the additional info gives you extra search terms that you might be able to use in looking for more materials to build your collection. Let's see. I think just going to close that. So that's the information. You can go back to search the Smithsonian. Let's see. Okay. So I think that's an overview of what the items look like and how you use the site to get more information on them, discover them, and and find what the materials you want. Now say you are ready, you feel confident, and you want to start building a collection. So you will go, you could either go back home and go to collections, or you could go to your dashboard and it'll show you everything about what you've put into or what you've been doing on the site. So if you go to my dashboard here, it gives my name, and this is my profile, and you can edit your profile, your institution, what your title is, you know, all that kind of information, whatever you want to share. My recent favorites, so you'll see my favorites. Remember, I hearted some of those collections and I added that guy at the end, that little box. Let's see. There we go. So it shows that I have 7 resources so far that I've favorited. And you'll notice that in here, I have this that doesn't look familiar to you. I added Canvas from the New York Heritage exhibit that's in, on the Erie Canal, that's in the New York Heritage. And so I added that in there. And you'll see a little bit later how we add the materials from these collections. Let's see if I go back to my dashboard this way. Yes. Okay. So right now I do have one unpublished, and that's the other nice thing. You can keep your exhibit unpublished if you're doing this in a classroom and you're working with younger kids and you don't want, you know, you're not supposed to share any personal information, but just say you wanted to do it as a class project and you didn't want it to be out there for the world to see. You can keep it as an unpublished, but still share with people who also are using the site. So this is my unpublished collection. Just looking to see where it. Oh. So if I click on this. I thought it showed that it was unpublished here, but maybe I have to go to it, the exhibit itself. Yeah, so you'll see while it's loading, there's a little publish button. So if I wanted to publish it, I could click that, but right now it's an unpublished collection. And here is what I've created so far for my New York State and Erie Canal collection. And again, you'll see I can copy the collection and if I wanted to expand or change, if I wanted to use this base collection and build something off of it, I can make a copy of it. You can create assignments for students if you are a teacher who is doing this. Again, you can favorite collections. You can share collections. There are citations, information, and view the collection information. So if you hit the edit collection, and you wait.
Or, you know, if you want to be more anonymous in the future on anything, you know, because some people don't want to really.
Sorry, this is slow. Okay. All right, now we're in. So the one thing that you can do, okay, well, we'll wait a second here. So here is the collection that I have. What they want you to do, and I'll show you this in a minute, is they want you to give the collection a title and a brief description. So this is my title, the New York State and Erie Canal, New York State and Erie Canal. And then this was the description that I actually lifted from the Erie Canal exhibit in New York Heritage. And then here's my exhibit items. And again, it looks like a lot of pictures, but there are those information pages in here so that when you click on a particular image, you will get this description that they have from the Smithsonian. And you can actually edit and change it or create some of your own descriptions if you wanted to. So let's see. if I did this once before, with Clinton. So say I just wanted to add that bit of information about him. And then you just make the edit, done, and goes back to the rest of the exhibit. So you'll notice in here that I have the favorites that I took from the Smithsonian, those 4, but I also have this one, which came from New York Heritage. This one at the end also came from New York Heritage, from the Schenectady County Historical Society. This one was from Hoppy Trust. That's in the exhibit. And this is from the Erie Canal Museum, also in the exhibit, a voucher for payment. So I have these resources, and so say I want to add a resource, and I want to add something from New York Heritage, for example. Go slowly, slowly. Huh? Okay. All right. I want to add a resource. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to upload a file. So the title of my resource is going to be Seneca Lake Survey, because I found a group of surveyors in an image, Seneca Lake Survey Party. It was actually. Surveyors. Fix all your typos. So you do your description. So you have your title, your description. I want to upload a file. Did I create the file, or did I create the item? No, I did not. Who created it? Okay, so I have to go to, this is the image that I pulled up. And you can see there's more survey equipment, so that might be useful for the kids to learn about the different ways things were surveyed. Who created this? Okay, it's the Erie Canal Museum, because there's the holding institution. We use the metadata from New York Heritage. So it is Museum, which is an organization. And I think they want the URL. Oops, gosh. Oh. So I guess I have to go to the Erie Canal Museum. So that you can contact the organization if you were someone who is using this collection and you wanted more information about it. Here we go. Okay, so that's the URL. So I paste in the Erie Canal Museum's URL. Then I want to select a file. And I already downloaded this. Oh boy, where is it? Did I? This might be it. I thought I titled them all. This may or may not be the surveyors.
It's all right, as long as we get the mechanics, that's the important part.
Right. And then you do add. So you want to find what you want to add from other things like New York Heritage. You want to download those. Where is it? Okay, that's the Foundry, but I think I mixed up my titles. This was one of the Newberg things that I was going to use, but say that was the actual, and actually I feel really bad. I should probably just, here, rid of this thing. Seneca Lake Survey. Let me just do it real quick. So I don't want you to think I'm an idiot, which I could be. So what you would do in New York Heritage is you'd use this little download button. I click on medium, I'm not sure why. Once it downloads, actually this will be good because you can see I get rid of an item and add another item. So I've downloaded it, And I want to save it as survey. I'll just do survey. Survey in my downloads. All right, so it should be there now. So I'm going to go back to my collection. All right, so I decided I put the wrong one in, so I'm just simply going to delete it. Yay, look at that. Okay, so now you get to see us add the resource a second time, except correctly this time, I hope. So you add a resource. You should have music or something when it's doing that. Okay, so again, I want to add a resource. Oh my God, what is it again? Seneca Lake survey. Party. Oops. So you do your description, your title, your description. I want to upload a file. I did not create this. Creator was not me. Oh, geez, I clicked on yes. No, it will default put your information. Sorry. Erie Canal Museum. Canal Museum. Right, first spell. And it's an organization. And let's see if, oh no, it won't be in there because there it is. Copy. Okay. The URL. Select. Now hopefully I get the right image this time in my downloads. Survey. There it is. Look at that. Okay, so everything's as it should be. I click add.
Heidi, while that's waiting, would you ever link to, like if the item is in New York Heritage, instead of linking to the Erie Canal Museum, would you link directly to that page in New York Heritage? Or is that really
I actually do that. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, I do that. Look, there they are. There's my surveyors. Okay, so we're still in the edit, and I should be able to, I want to kind of keep the story consistent. So you can move your images around. So you can just dump everything in there. And as long as you're in edit, you can move them around. So as you see, I just moved the surveyors to where the survey chains are so that it is more coherent of a story. And then I could put, you know, Canvas White invented hydraulic cement. So I could grab an image of one of the cement, one of the locks that, you know, is an example of the use of the hydraulic cement, put that in and put it near him. So on and on and on. And then you just go on and add your next resource. Okay. So here we have, say I'm done for now. And again, the stories are all being told. You see the pictures, but the stories are in there as people click on and go through each image in your story. So make sure your autosave is on, I guess. It should be, but make sure it is. And then you can save and exit. And you can go work on another one. Yes, I'm done. Okay, so I say, yes, I'm done. Now. All right, and it just takes you back to that. So just real quickly, I don't know where we are for time.
We're good. We have about 20 minutes.
Okay. So I just thought I'll show you the creating the collection. So if I just go back to this dashboard or collections, there's multiple ways. I mean, you could go home and start a collection. You could start it from your dashboard. You could start it from, so here you have my published and my unpublished. All right. So it's showing you my unpublished One Erie Canal collection here, and say, I decide I'm going to create a new collection. As I said, you can do it from the home page, you can do it from your dashboard, you can do it from the collections tab. So my new collection is going to be Life in, I want to do this. So I do like, you know, people, places, and events that shaped whatever, Newburgh's history. Okay, so there's my title, there's my description, and I start the collection. All right. So I can start adding things from New York Heritage right away. Or I could search the Smithsonian. And again, you can go to that, that Discover tab that was on the home page where I entered in the Erie Canal as a search term, but I can also do it here from my new collection and say I did Newburgh. Think we're going to find anything? Why didn't that work? Oh, there. I was going to say, I know it because I already did this. It is slow. It is slow. So look at that, 52 resources. No collections, just 52 resources. But you can see here, there's a fire badge from the Newburgh Fire Department, a tattoo parlor from Newburgh from 2014, I believe. Mary Powell at Newburgh something something, but there's that steamship, a sampler. And here's some of the things I told you about. These are like Smithsonian blog posts or newsletter. Here's something about the brewers. So if you want to do historical, if you want to do contemporary, if you wanted to do a bunch, this is, I think, somebody from Newburgh, from the National Museum of African American Art, who got a Purple Heart. These are some guys who are doing some sketchy coinage in colonial New York when the Articles of Confederation were in existence. That's from Smithsonian Magazine, that article there. We have this mastodon. This must be an artist. Is there some artist who does a lot of color stuff in Newburgh? I didn't even, oops. I just want to see what, I didn't click on him. Not sure why it's, I think this is one of your Hudson River school artists, people. But I can, let's see. Oh, where's my little icons?
And while you're doing that, Jim from the Newburgh Historical Society said that Ellsworth Kelly is from Newburgh. I'm assuming that
must be the artist. Yeah. Huh. Right, why it's doing this now? Check these check things here. You know what? I'm going to go back here, back home. So if I go back to Discover and I do this here, or New York, I think it may be, that might be one of the changes I think they made is when you're doing, creating collections from that tab where you're in the collections. It can get a little maze-like, but let's see if this makes it easier. That's why I love the little starburst. Always go back home when you're lost. So now you have 105. Again, there are no collections. but there are 105 resources, and there's your artist. Here's I remember seeing that one. Okay, so here we go. Now the icons are showing up again. And you see they're saying this is by relevance. And I'm not sure how they decide relevance. So let's see. Wow. I only had the 52 when I did this before. You know what it is, I think? I did the search term differently. I think I spelled out New York before, and here I didn't. And I think that makes a difference. So that's something to keep in mind if you, here, let's just do this again. If you are doing a search, you might want to try doing your search with different ways. The Library of Congress is like this as well. If you abbreviate a state or you use certain formats like commas or colons, you could get different numbers of hits.
New York Heritage is the same. We can't all be Google.
Right. Okay, here we go. So apparently I had to spell it out to get those 52 that I had seen earlier. So here you go. So you could favorite, say I know I want to do something about the fire department. Maybe I want to do something about Newburgh today. So the tattoo parlor, the steamships, obviously, you know, maybe the sampler is something I want to incorporate into my exhibit. There you go. I love this. That's such a cool thing. And the Purple Heart. I want to do something about the African American community in Newburgh. Really? There. Okay. So I favorited a bunch of stuff, and so now I've got some, and I know I have some materials that I have in New York Heritage that I would really like to incorporate. So I can go back to my dashboard, or I can go back to collections. Maybe just stick with the dashboard and the home. So now it's showing that I have the Erie Canal, but I also have this life in Newburgh, New York, with nothing in it at present. So here's my collection. My title, my little blip description. I want to edit the collection. Okay. So I want to add some of my favorites. And this was one. This was one. That was one. There. I think that's it, right? So I click on the ones that I wanted. I think I missed one. I did. I missed the Purple Heart. There we go. Oops, I gotta wait for it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I've got the Smithsonian resources in my exhibit, and you can go back and check the descriptions to make sure these are actually things that you want to have in your exhibit, that they relate to whatever it is that you're creating. And then say I wanted to add a resource from New York Heritage, and say I was looking at occupations of people in Newburgh as one section of one group of images in my exhibit, what people did for a living. And that's where my Foundry guy comes in. So again, you go to that add a resource. Let's see. This is on. Oh, geez. Oh, things. Yeah. Okay. So it is Fire and Wilson. Established. Newburgh, New York. Team. I don't know what. So you just create your description. You want to upload the file. Okay, so you mentioned about taking it from the actual site. So here's the image that I found, the foundry in Newburgh, New York. And so if I wanted to copy and paste this URL, I can do this in here. Yeah. I'm kind of doing things out of order here. Sorry about that. Library of Congress is not the creator. It is actually, who did this? Newburgh Historical Society. I could have copy and pasted that.
Jim is on the line with us today from the Historical Society. So Heidi, can I ask you a question right here? So
Yeah.
you've downloaded the file and then uploaded it. That little toggle that says, I want to contribute a website or URL, could you add it that way without having to download? Like what about collections that don't allow you to download files? Could you
You know,
do that option?
I haven't done that, but we could try it. If you want to try it, because I've got another one more that I was going to throw in there. So let's try that.
I'm just curious if that works for like digital collections that don't allow you to download any file, if you could still
Oh, right.
share it.
I don't know. Did it have it?
Huh. Okay, never mind. I didn't mean to derail you, but it's something people can play
There
with.
it is. So yeah, so say you wanted to move things around and put them in, chronological order. Say the foundry belongs up here with the fire department with occupations. So you can move it to where you want it to be in this. Okay, so let's just try one more and let's try it that way and see what happens. I've not done that, but. Oh, and it keeps. Come on. Okay. So if I want to add a resource, okay. I don't know why I put that in. Oh, I was assuming Water Street. Just say this is where I was making things up, where the fire department was located. So I wanted to put it near the badge, the building, whatever. Okay, so now you're saying I want to contribute a website URL. And this would be it. Right? This isn't, yeah. Oh, that was the drugstore. Boy, I really messed up. Anyway, that was the drugstore. This is where the doesn't really matter. Drugstore located next to the fire department. Okay, so if we paste that in. Oh wait, you have to, oh wait. Okay. So I guess when you do the file, you have to make sure you have all that other, I was going to say, you have to make sure all that other information is filled in about the organization that created it, or it won't let you load it.
Takes a long time to save a link, huh? While it's loading, someone asked Jim from Newburgh Historical Society, how would a student or other user experience a collection?
When you say how would they experience it, in terms of creating it or in terms of?
I'm not sure. I mean, well, let's see how this worked, and then Jim can unmute himself and oh, so look, huh? Is that the gray box that you just uploaded?
Well,
So that doesn't. Yeah, huh, that's kind of weird.
I'm just trying to, because I mean, the other one was gray. I don't know how long. Ah, there you go. So this is what you're going to get. You're not going to get the image. You're going to get the page
Okay.
with all the metadata, which is fine if that's what you want.
Or if that's all you can do, if you can't download, but you
Right.
wanted to include it. Yeah.
Right. So like in this case, the Foundry, oh God, and I just got rid of it. Darn it. So we're going to pretend things. Say that this is the drugstore one, but say that I had, that was the metadata for the Foundry. Okay. Jeez. Oh, stop. All right. So you could just paste in the metadata description. Do you see what I did?
Mm-hmm.
I just took the metadata from New York Heritage. Done. Oh, I wanted to show you. Okay. No, I don't want to show you that right now. So yeah, so now if you look at it, now it has the information. I didn't give it a title, but I could have done that. So now you can, so this is where I think for students, this is good. It's good in a number of ways. I mean, a teacher can use this to create an exhibit, topic specific, time specific, about people, places, and events. What, you know, it can be, it doesn't have to be local history. It could be women's suffrage. It could be, you know, anything. I mean, there's a ton of women's suffrage stuff in the Smithsonian, and there's a ton of stuff in New York Heritage. So you could create a women's suffrage exhibit, and you could use this where students could go in and edit and create a chronological timeline if you wanted them to do like timeline activities. You could do document analysis activities with these. The students can help in the building. This is what's nice. They can help in the building. They can be their own curators. You can have students create own little mini exhibits using these materials if you can show them how to navigate. And they don't even have to, you know, the teacher could load the images in, a whole selection. The students could favorite different images and create their own sub-collections from, you know, it's almost like using the Library of Congress primary source sets. The teacher creates a primary source set from the Smithsonian and New York Heritage, and then the students can go in. And I can't even tell you, honestly, what all the teaching tools are that are in the Smithsonian Learning Lab, but that is where, if you go to, let's see, save and exit. Yes, I'm done. If you go back to that home page, there are all sorts of teachers' resources. You can create, I don't know how to do it, but you can create hotspots on some of these. And so teachers can create, you know, questions. Like they can create their own document analysis. What is this object in this image? Who is this person? Or they can fill that information in. So there's a lot of teaching resources, and that's where the Smithsonian takes over. You know, you go to their classroom hours, you go to their resources that are online.
And Heidi, someone's asking that before this ends, because it is 12 o'clock, so if people have to go, go ahead and go. We'll keep the recording running and make it available if we go a few minutes longer. But someone's asking, they want to see a published collection. And then Jim clarified his question. I think they're two related, is like how people view it. So, I mean, I think you have to publish it. And if, you know, if you want anybody to be able to view it and access it, it needs to be published. Otherwise, you can share it internally with other people who have accounts, like if it's an unpublished. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Right. I'm just going to the browse all. Is there a specific, does anyone want a specific, or are we just saying any collection will do?
Yeah, no, I think anyone will do. Just look at a published one. And so, yeah, if you create these and you publish them, or if you work with educators, or then you can share out the link.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you are familiar with SlideShare, but it reminds me a little bit of SlideShare, where teachers can find exhibits or slideshow, you know, PowerPoint presentations. They can find those, and they can adapt other people's slideshows and create their own slideshow for their classroom. making it more age appropriate or subject appropriate or whatever. So
Now, if someone takes your published exhibit and wants to use it and adapt it, they would be creating their own, right? They wouldn't be
yes,
adding on to yours. Okay.
yes, right. No, they're not. They're not affecting your exhibit. So here's somebody's American Short Stories preview. The following paintings are going to be used to preview a variety of selections within Great American Short Stories collection. Students will be divided into groups. A printed version of the painting, but no title. So they're going to do a See, Think, Wonder exercise for their painting. Each painting will be shown on the smartboard and students share the discussion points. So that could be done online as well as. So here you see, I picked that because I saw the Hudson thing.
And now once they're in here, they can just page through, right? Using those arrows at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you put them in the order you want, then once they've opened the first one, they can just keep browsing through and kind of have an exhibit-like experience.
Yeah. And if you wanted to copy, okay, let's see if we can copy the collection. I just lose it.
Someone asked if you get notified if someone uses your exhibit. Do you know?
That I don't know because I've only done unpublished. I don't know, but that would be a good question for the Smithsonian staff. Let's look at this civil rights movement. I just want to see if I can copy it. So this exhibit's been copied 3 times, if you see over here. And you could see all 3 of the copies if you wanted to.
So that might be your way of knowing. Like if you create an exhibit and it was copied, you'd probably see that it's been copied and can view and see who's done it.
I don't know if you're immediately notified.
Yeah.
But
at least you can tell.
So you can, oops. So I can copy this collection. And then, so I just copy it and let's see if it shows up then in my. It's fitting. So now I have this collection created by Heidi. So it's going to show up then in my collections. So I can go ahead and do anything I want to it, take things out, put things in from New York Heritage for civil rights. So I can take that and.
Cool. And this one, you see these little tile things that have like the questions. I bet you those are some teacher added resources, like maybe question prompts or things like that.
And shards of stained glass.
Or no, maybe it's not. It's shards of stained glass or shards of something. But I think you can't. I think educators could do that. They could upload, like documents and things like that that maybe have lessons or guiding questions.
I'm not sure why it's not. There could be some reason that it's not showing that image. I could have looked at the usage thing.
Oh.
But yeah, I say, play around with it. I'm just giving you a very basic, here how you find items in here, how you use the icons to save some that you like. And
I think it was great.
How you can use your New York Heritage collections and integrate them with the things that are here. Yep,
I think it was fantastic, Heidi, and I really want to thank you for showing us this tool, because I had no idea about it until you mentioned it to me. And I do, I think a lot of our community, they want their resources to be used in K-12. That's kind of one of our primary audiences for the work we do, but sometimes it's really helpful to curate stuff for them or give them tools where they can curate themselves. And I think that this could do both those things. So I want to thank you. I'm going to welcome everybody to unmute yourselves if you have any other questions for Heidi or for anybody. And if not, we'll just give her a big round of applause for coming and spending time and putting that together.
definitely contact the Smithsonian staff. They are so tremendously helpful and wonderful.
And you said they have office hours, right? They have
Oh,
regular
they're
office
online.
hours?
Yep, they
Thank
do.
you,
Yeah.
everybody. So we'll see
Well,
if we
Kumar,
can
yeah,
use this.
let me know. Yeah.
And everybody else, have a great day. Know that I'm always a phone call or email away if you need me. And I hope everyone's still doing well. And we'll schedule another meeting for another 6, 7, 8 weeks out, and I'll let you all know when that's going to be. Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.